It's like a replay. Rumble out, Gragas out. Do you go, for instance, like the Lucian for not removing the Lucian away? The Poppy from Los Ratones, they don't want to see Vizicachi on that one. The Cyan, okay. Obviously, Baus is a beast. It's going to be the Varos. What about the Azir from Nemesis? We know he's a shining star on that one, but it's going to be the Lucian.
You want to remove the Lucian from Crowny, and in general, you don't want to see a lot of champion in Crowny's hands, but that is going to be immediately a blind Syndra for Nemesis. We're talking about Azir potentially as a first pick, but Syndra is going to be such a strong one. It's already telling you what Los Ratones might want to go into, because we already see some scaling for them. We already see a very strong mid lane. Would be lovely if they build their composition around that, with Veli picking up something that is going to go really well with Syndra.
Obviously, we're going for the long range. Maybe you can even go for the jungle after this XERATH that is so comfortable for No Way.
I really wanted to maybe wait with the XERATH, because you talked about the Azir. It's a great matchup into it, but instead he slams it here, can still match the range, take killer from afar, so still not a bad matchup. And if there's something that could get Baus worried, it's the Trundle being slammed. It could still go to Jankos, but I mean, that's a sign of a top laner.
And it's a good answer into Baus, because you know that Baus most likely, except for the Queen, will build something that is going to be very tanky and frontline a lot for the team. Trundle deals exceptionally well with champions like that.
I think there's going to be a flex for the entire champion select for Jankos or either for Vizicachi. It's going to be the Nafiri coming in from Velia. Because, for instance, if you see a Jax going for the Trundle, I mean, Trundle wants to bite, but Jax just counter-strikes.
Yeah, I mean, that's a very good point. I think now you could look for the AD carry pool before it gets trimmed further. You've already lost the Lucian. Maybe you want to get an aggressive support as well, but no. You slam down your top side immediately. You know you're going to be playing against the counter regardless. So you're really showing your hand early on here. You know the mid, you know the jungle, you know the top. And NORD, they just get to counterpick whatever they want in the matchup. We'll see where this Trundle goes, but could definitely be changed if they want a better matchup in the top lane.
However, it's going to be really hard to counterpick right now, because you have a lot of engage on the side of Los Ratones. You have a lot of backline access as well from Syndra. But that's exactly what you do, NORD. You pick up Yorick for Vizicachi, and you make sure that the side lanes are going to be covered as long as the wife stays alive.
The flex, right? The Trundle, yes, we know it could go top lane, instantly turns it around. You've now not guaranteed your counter matchup in the jungle, but mid lane and top lane already, you've counterpicked, you've got the matchup you wanted. You likely get it on AD carry as well if you want to wait for that. Could be support, we'll see how much the pools get trimmed out here. There are plenty of other options you can target. I think if you go for Reckless, you can try and trim out some of the engage support, like the Braum, but no, you're looking at Crowny taking away the Ezreal.
You need to take that comfort away from Crowny. Crowny is comfortable playing versus Yorick, we know that. Yorick is countered by Crowny. As we move on into this second phase, are you going to trim the pool of AD carries for both of them? Because Inax is also feeling comfortable. What can he pick, for instance, Inax with the Yorick on the front line, with the Jankos, with this Trundle as well, the Zedaf on the back line? What could fit into this picture?
You can join No Way, and you can pick Jhin. You can have some more artillery on the background, because there is going to be some of those squishy targets on the side of Los Ratones. You're looking at Syndra, you're looking at Nafiri. Jhin is going to be able to kill them, and he's going to be able to do it really fast.
Yeah, I think that's a phenomenal shot, to be honest, Solari. I really like that idea. We'll see if it does get banned away. You have first pick, right? We know Crowny likes to play it. You can just take it away on the R4, and then you can counter pick the support matchup. I'll see on the ban here, and I think otherwise, I'm leaning very heavily the Jhin. They banned the Tristana. Yeah, this is huge Jhin to me. I really like that.
Yes.
What about the Rel? Rel is so important for Nash. If Nash is capable of getting a Rel where he keeps everybody together with the Trundle and the Yorick just hammering away, while on the back line you have Inax and No Way, this could be it. We've seen Nash on that Rel, and he's scary to play versus. Are they going to ban it away?
And that's a good point, because they really need some additional engage on the side of NORD right now. Rel would be perfect here, but even if Rel goes away to Los Ratones to Reckless, they still have a lot of options open, but it will be just so much easier to pick Rel right now and not worry about that.
You slam it down, that AD carry pool though really trimmed the center. Obviously just recently buffed in the AD carry role, a great range as well. The Corgi, yeah, probably the safest option you got left, to be honest. You got the dash to get out of trouble, and the ability to juke a few off the No Way right at the arcanes coming through from the XERATH.
You can poke from afar, not really far away, but at least you can bring some artillery into the question. This is amazing. If you want to play close quarters, might as well put in on the bars, engage. No worries, we'll go golden.
think about the pillars being placed as well, right? Trundle can create a pillar. The walls from the Yorick, all of these get stunned by the Bard, so you're basically buffing the Bard with what you've picked from Nord here. That's a great last pick there from Lost RATONES. A bit of a special thrown in from Reckless, and it works wonders in this matchup with the water will be created. But please do not pick the Misfortune, but they slam it. They slam it. I mean, you're gonna get destroyed by Baus and the Ambassador. You stand still when you're ulting. You get publicly executed by the Ambassador, and all of a sudden, you've lost your carry.
As we are heading into game number 2 of our grand finals here in Copenhagen. I like the Misfortune. So much squishiness on the side of Lost RATONES. One big ult is all it takes from Nash to set up for an insane bullet time.
I will say there are avenues to shut it down. That's where I can agree with the desk. I do think the ability to shut it down. But we do have these stats that we just brought up on our screens. You can see the game time difference between the teams. Nord are a team who play incredibly slow. In fact, I believe they have one of the longest, if not the longest, average game time in the tournament. They're scalers. They play for scale. They play for scaling, you know, they get more towers. They actually have a higher first tower rate than Lost RATONES, but Lost RATONES are a team who typically, actually, I used to think of them as a very good early game team, but this season, they've kind of dropped that ball, actually, and have started to move towards being very good at playing the late and mid game.
I kind of feel like it's been the opposite. I feel like Lost RATONES early games have not
They've been terrible this
They're kind of giving
right?
me like G2 deja vu, where it's like, let's see how bad our early game can go and see how good we are at pulling it back.
Just limit testing it to the max. But it's crazy, because when they first rocked around onto the scene, they were really good early, but I don't know, man. They've definitely started to drop that a little bit more. As heading into the game, Baus actually has lane swapped into No Way here, so they don't want to play the Ambessa into the Yorick.
I actually think they also don't want to play the Syndra into the XERATH.
That might be the real
range
dodge. From
the XERATH, right? He has really great wave clear. He has so much more range than the Syndra. However, I will say it's kind of scary to put a Syndra in such an elongated, there you go, oh my god, that word is hard. Elongated lane, such a top lane. And I feel like with Jankos around, we could potentially see some level 3 shenanigans happening if he fancies that. As you can see, Nafiri is pathing towards the top of the map. He's pathing towards Baus, towards Nemesis rather, and Jankos pathing towards his bot lane. Now, the two compositions, again, I feel like Lost RATONES have gone for a hands diff type of composition. Again, not a lot of engage on their side, maybe a Scatter the Weak here, maybe a Q from a bot there, the ult later on. Nord have a lot more agency in the ways they want to play through team fights, and primarily it's all on the shoulders of Nash.
Well, I do think, especially with this lane swap, we're probably going to see this game somewhat similar to the last game. Two teams who want to be playing for scaling, want to be playing for late game. It's going to be a little bit more chill. I think bot lane is potentially where we could see some action, because like you said, that Misfortune kind of stat check can come in. Obviously not quite yet, only got the level 2. And it's one of those old combos, which I remember when Rel first came around and Misfortune first came back into the meta. Like the Magnet Storm into the Bullet Time combo is brutal. And you don't have something like a Braum that can just block that. You're going to be pulled in by the Magnet Storm. You're going to get absolutely cut down by that Bullet Time. It doesn't get
reduced by tenacity as well. So you get the full duration of that CC. That's why it's a fantastic sort of CC. And Nash is a great Rel as well. I think he's one of his best champions.
Oh, Nash just goes for the flash forward into the portal they go. Inax actually following, gets caught here. That might have been a mistake. No! The stun comes through, and Inax finds first blood.
That's why I freaking love Misfortune into a squishy lane like Bard and Corki. Not only does she keep up with the clearing, but the waves that she bounces back and forth, the trades that you have so much AD in your base kit as Misfortune. We said that if Nash finds a good Q, finds a good engage, Inax can solidify the deal, and that was literally realizing in front of your eyes.
Really nice to see that stat check we talked about come to fruition here, but Jankos getting pretty heavily chunked out by Baus. Velia now gets slowed by the pillar. They're not really going to be getting too much more than just a little bit of poke off, and gonna back away. Dragon spawning up soon, 50 seconds until that's up, so Nash can quickly grab some camps, get himself in, but having a look at the items of the supports now. With the pressure that was just built by Nord in the bot lane, Vamp Scepter finished up onto Inax to a tier on Crowny. So if Lost RATONES want to try and check if they can get this dragon, try and contest this dragon, they are going to be, going into a little bit more power coming in from the side of Nord.
So Nord have managed to find a way through that bot lane. The 2 versus 2, they're much stronger right now. Also the trades with the Vamp Scepter, the health coming back from the Vamp Scepter as well, while you're trading, while you're CSing, it really does help the Misfortune, the trades. Fat since we're watching top lane, they're not both there, but they have been the main characters, I want to say, of the series, right? Particularly from the upper bracket final. These are their most prominent champions, and I feel like Chachi has been a very, very stable member for NORD, such as Baus as well. 7 and 8 solo kills, I feel like, is what's most impressive about this.
It's so impressive. I'm sad that we don't get to see them go toe-to-toe yet, because we had the Cho'Gath game last time, which is just clear wave, walk away. Not really much interaction in that lane. And this time, their lane's
reformed.
Yeah, he has reformed. I do want to see like a true Faust versus Chelsea matchup before we close up today.
I will suggest for game number 3, no matter who wins, Sion versus Poppy, settle it like real players on the Rift.
Yes.
Best champ versus best champ.
Hell yeah.
The rest of the team is not needed, just them.
Well,
oh, the rest of the team is needed here.
it's not Baus in the
Velia.
lane, but Nemesis may be looking for the kill. The Scout of the Week comes in. Chachi just flashes into Nemesis's face. Velia chasing forward. Maiden's going to do some work. He's got the shovel. He's putting the work in, to be fair. Velia almost goes down, but takes out Chachi.
Great timing right there from Velia. Chachi had run out of mana, so he tried to pull a last-second result right there. You're either going to try to shove the wave, which he couldn't, or you're going to try to force maybe a flash from Nemesis. Nemesis is stone cold. Doesn't pull the flash either. Velia ends up solidifying the kill right here. Pickaxe straight into his inventory as well. And Jankos is going to take that time. He's going to use his own Baus on the top lane, which is called Chachi for now, and take the dragon.
Alrighty, well, Dragon being secured here from Jankos. Nice early start.
Look how the bot lane has shifted through that one kill.
Yeah, it really just brought so much pressure now. Velia maybe looking for No Way, hasn't got the level 6. Baus fights him with the ultimate! No Way under tower! Beautiful kill from RATONES.
He flashed on a straight line! You cannot fly, it's like flashing on a straight line towards an Ashe ult. The further you run, it's still on the same line, it's gonna catch you. No Way, getting skill checked right there, but I feel like it was a big mistake. Flashing straight into a straight line, you're still gonna get caught by the line.
I think he forgot, but even though he's an artillery mage, he can still be caught. He's just used to be playing a screen away. Lovely ult from Baus though. Beautiful catches. Again, the pressure in this bot lane could start to amount to be a bit of a problem. Now Velia's got 6, he does have that backline access. This was the scary thing for NX. If he does stand still and people like Velia or Baus aren't caught, they will be able to punish.
I feel like Nemesis is the real winner of whatever's happened in the early game. The fact that he got away playing in such a long lane into a Yorick that can just spawn a wall, and then you've got a Trundle right on top of you, can stop you from your flash. The fact that you got away with Murder swapping onto the top lane with a Syndra is incredible from the side of Nemesis. So don't have to worry about it now. Lost chapter in the inventory, almost an entire item completed for Ambessa as well, and you'll see that the lanes are pretty much going to fall into place now.
Well, cheeky lane swap up towards the top side here from both NORD and RATONES. Both will be looking towards this the Void Grubs. Last game we saw NORD put a lot of attention, a lot of effort into getting control of the top side, and then just gave up. They did not want to go for it. Now top laners are finally going toe-to-toe here. Chachi puts up the cage, makes the trade even, just backs off.
Who's jailed with who?
Yeah. Well, Baus gets a little bit of extra damage onto Chachi, but Chachi's going to be playing this one a little bit more chill.
Looking at top side, this is fully controlled by the side of Los Ratones. I want to reiterate the fact that engage for Los Ratones is not very easy. They have to catch people off guard. Jankos is just going to...
Good pillar.
Put, usually it's a mud thing on the floor. This time around it's not on this
It's a nice,
handle.
refreshing drink.
And just walk away. But yeah, again, it's not very easy for Los Ratones to start those fights. They never make it easy for themselves with those drafts. I'll tell you what.
No.
To start fights. However, again, NORD have the rel, so all Los Ratones have to do is get a pick, potentially with, again, a Scout of the Week, a Reckless ult, a Reckless Q, or peel from that rel engage. There's only one Void Grub left, and that one's going to be taken away as well. Los Ratones, they go away with it.
Crowd goes absolutely crazy. It looks like No Way's going to get himself caught off here. Misses the stun, and Velia will look to finish him up. The unleashed power, and the bleed will secure the kill. Down goes No Way again. Jankos can't find Reckless either. They're just going to have to back off.
Very nice stuff right there from Velia, wrapping around that mid lane, knowing that No Way does not have the flash. They capitalize on him. Jankos, he's looking. There is
good
no
tempered fate. Lovely tempered fate there from Reckless, locking down Nash, denying him here. It's Maiden just Did a little bit of poke onto Baus.
So this is giving me a little bit flashbacks of Winter Split with
Yeah.
Norway, where this is where the criticism came from, right? He keeps getting picked off, the flash goes through, and then he'll just keep dying. Now, I can't blame him for dying between tier 2 and tier 1 and tier 2. But the initial kill, the flash usage right there going down, that was all on him. And he has particularly been sometimes the weaker link, I want to say, through NORD, which we didn't necessarily see in that upper bracket final, the 2-0 that NORD had. I think he did have Nemesis' number for that particular series, and we just need to see him get back into gear, because I feel like right here, Velia's getting away with it. Eclipse already completed, 2-0 on that Nafiri, and that dog is still very, very scary.
3 items finished up onto the side of Los Ratones, where it's just that Bloodthirster on Inax.
The only one with a gold lead.
Only one with a gold lead. I mean, it's a rough one here for NORD. They had a really big lead last game, and they kind of, they just fumbled it. They weren't able to really enact the kind of map opening and the map pressure that they were able to accrue for themselves. And this time, Baus, Copenhagen goes crazy.
He's just doing his thing, you know?
I love that the crowd go that crazy every time.
Chachi might be falling for it.
Oh, Chachi going low. Baus looking for the kill. In jumps Velia for the lockdown. Chachi buying the space. Jumps back under the tower. It is reset. Velia secures the kill. In comes the right to the arcane to clear the wave. Not going to be giving up too much.
So it's Ayaya, Gwen is immune, and what's this one? Woof woof, Nafiri is immune?
I don't want to think about that champion. I still get angry.
Again, Velia, what a fantastic game he's been having so far. Wrapping around mid lane, getting towards the top. Chachi got baited by Baus right there, and even though that was the matchup to watch, Chachi absolutely annihilated Baus on that 2-0, and right here, Baus is getting revenge. The global magnet is working, and Chachi's falling for it.
Yeah, he really is, unfortunately. Heavy cost. We're seeing latest times got a bit wonky. Granny's in the mid lane. No way. Resetting now off the back of this one as Inax. He's actually just being zoned off the wave. Nemesis is too scary right now. Got that Black Fire Torch. Inax doesn't have a support nearby either, so he just has to sit back and play safe and catch the scraps that are given to him.
He does have vision, but Bard breaks that vision so quickly. You come through a wall, you come through a tunnel, you throw your ult as well. You've got Scout of the Week from Syndra, so Inax is playing very, very respectfully right here. He knows he's the only one with the lead. He knows he's the only one with a full item from his side. So the longer he stays alive, the more he farms, the more he starts off with damage forge and keeps his summoner spells. Most importantly, the better it will be for NORD. 2 minutes until the Herald spawns as well. Nash has now joined Inax over on the bottom of the map.
Yeah, I really want to see NORD lean into Inax. He's their best avenue into the game, but Nash went roaming about to see if there was any opportunities to get some vision down.
Jankos.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a very quiet game from Jankos.
Yeah.
I've seen a couple of pillars come down to slow people, and that's about it.
I just feel like you're playing Trundle. The fact that Nemesis went through 9 minutes of an interrupted back and forth on a very long lane up top.
Yeah.
It's not very characteristic of Jankos.
No, definitely seems to be a pretty big mistake here for Jankos. We'll see if he's actually going to really find an opening right now, because right now he's on the top side. But Velia, once again, is actually looking towards Baus, and Chachi may find himself in a 2v1, so Jankos probably doesn't need to think about moving over. Chachi respecting that he doesn't really have any vision of what's going on, and if Velia steps forwards, he'll see him on the ward, but that's going to be the engage there from Baus onto Chachi, puts the cage down, flashless, unable to escape. Velia slides in and secures the kill.
Turn nameplates off, and I will tell you they're swapped.
Yeah.
Turn nameplates back on. Velia's been having a banger of a game. And again, our question at the beginning of the day is, can Velia protect Baus? Can Velia shadow Baus? Can he help him through that top lane? And the answer is yes.
Well,
they're
now,
both
Jankos,
showing up, and Jankos can't even get his Krugs there, man.
Puts up the King's Domain. He loses half his health just trying to get to this wave. Velia being incredibly impactful, 4-0.
That's a lot of hot dogs.
On the Neferi. That is a lot of hot dogs. One fed hot dog anyway. No way, not really found the impact. Is Jankos going for a fight here versus Baus. Baus is forced to flash away. Chachi back into the lane, but ultimately, I'm left speechless.
Okay, I'm a little upset here. NORD have chosen red side twice, and I'm yet to see why? I was expecting a hard counter pick over on the top side of the map, or maybe in the bot lane to try and play more aggro. Again, we saw Crowny and Reckless being pushed yesterday by Ruddysack, straight up 2 versus 2. And I feel like none of this is coming to fruition, either in game number 1 nor in game number 2. I just need to see that red side work, or just swap to blue and take a very, very good S-tier peak, like they have been doing for the side of Los Ratones. They're prioritizing Nemesis and Velia back-to-back on blue side.
Yeah. I felt like NORD maybe had like a plan, or they thought they'd throw Los Ratones off by giving them blue side and their prep, but ultimately hasn't really led to anything here.
Sources say NORD have a plan. Sources, trust me, bro.
Yeah, I mean, at the moment, that does feel a little bit like it.
Yeah.
Herald goes down, picked up there by Velia. We'll be able to crack a tower off that one. And NORD, I'm now trying to scratch my head. What is the avenues back into this game? Items are starting to be completed. There it is. Baus actually decides better of it.
He knows his resets, right? That's very clever. And that's a development we have seen through the split.
Yeah.
He has learned from past mistakes. Rel is on a reset, so he does have to respect that, particularly because Jankos took his flash earlier on. So you don't want to be giving kills away when you're 1.5k up onto this Yorick. You don't want to be returning any of those kills, having a bounty on top of your head as well.
These two are roaming around together and haven't really achieved much. They've left Inax on his own. He's lost most of his gold lead that he had over Crowny from that kill, and instead he's just kind of catching waves, being bullied by Nemesis, who's slowly farming up his Wrath stacks as well. Dragon's up in the next 8 seconds though, so maybe
there's a
we'll
long
see
vision from NORD, behind enemy lines, inside enemy lines, defensively as well. Tower's just gonna go down just like this, no defense from the side of NORD, and now they've lost majority of this line of defense that we mentioned inside their own jungle and in enemy territory. Let's see if Nash can get that big ult we've been talking about.
All right, Nash is the redemption arc, but Nemesis comes in with the scat of the week onto Inax. Massive Baus ultimate! There's the Magnus Storm into the Tempered Fate. Unable to move, Inax will fall. And Los Ratones have just got the fight in the bag. Nash goes down. Jankos left scratching his head. No way, trying to find that range, trying to find that little bit of extra damage. Right to the arcane will rain down onto Los Ratones.
That's the problem. You keep getting your waves pushed, you keep getting your towers killed, which means you do not have a lot of vision, you do not have a lot of push, you do not have a lot of ways into the river. You walk through a choke point as an immobile AD carry, you're gonna get punished for it. I feel like it's kind of criminal. Getting called from a scatter of the week with flash up, it's kind of criminal from Misfortune when you are all the damage, when you are all the, or the only gold lead on the map for your team, which doesn't even exist anymore.
Yeah.
It's flipped over to Crowny for 300 gold, and another Dragon going over to Alarm.
And that is why Inax needs to play with his team. He can't be just getting caught by that.
That's the only side you do not have vision for NORD, and Inax just takes the wrong path around.
And the problem is this is exactly what the desk was scared about. You know, they do have the ability to shut the MF down.
Hey,
it's down to Inax playing it smarter.
Cast bullet time. He didn't even have time to cast bullet time.
No, he just got immediately, instantly locked down, and that was the major concern there. But back into the game, Inax still working towards his collector as his next item. But significantly behind now, the whole team anyway. He's only 200 gold down, but the whole team have got a pretty big gold deficit, 34k to 28k. Closing in on like 29k, but regardless. Los Ratones, it feels different from the first game because NORD had the lead, they had the map pressure, but they didn't do anything with it. Los Ratones, they've got that lead, they've got that pressure, and they are doing something with it. And that kind of flashes back to that graphic we showed at the beginning, like the game time.
Yeah.
When Los Ratones get ahead, they look to end.
Yeah. Let's see here, Jankos.
Not doing anything, don't worry.
I mean, I'm looking on the side of LR, and I feel like the two shining stars so far for the team have been Velia and Baus. I feel like Velia has done such a fantastic job yesterday on that Poppy, but I feel like his timers, he's shadowing towards Baus. He's there at the right time, at the right place to counter gank or to gank himself, and they have punished Chachi for whatever he did on those upper bracket finals. They have punished him. They've taken him down, they've killed him, they have fed the dog, they have fed the Ambessa, and I feel like that duo, jungle and top, has been doing incredibly well in both games.
It feels a bit like Revenge is the best served in finals, but Baus, the Avengers have assembled, finds himself some damage onto Chachi, using some of the movement speed to break away, but they've got the lockdown, the shields, the pillars, everything is just going to keep Baus in place. There's the Magnus Storm. Jankos takes the kill, but what is the taunt going to cost them? Inax falls, Velia finishes him up. The global taunt, too much to bear.
Mid lane's getting pushed, Inax dies for it, bot lane's getting pushed, bot lane tower dies for it. Let's see if Chachi's gonna be able to take one for NORD on the top side of the map, or the trade is just simply not worth it right there. Bounce buys enough time, put pressure on the map, and now La have solidified themselves a bit of control inside Jankos' jungle on the bottom of the map. Nash is looking, but remember, had to blow the Rel ult to kill Baus on the top side.
Yeah, absolutely. It will not have that up for quite a while as well, so they need to just buy time, and I don't think Los Ratones are going to give them that time. Jankos loses a fair amount of HP. There's a teleport available to Chachi if he wants to come in. Nemesis just continues to play off in Fog of War and be a nuisance to the members of NORD. Scatter the Weak lands onto Nash. There's the pillar. Nemesis goes in for the punish, but Baus has found Chachi on the flank. Atakan still firing away. Massive lockdown here from Reckless onto No Ways. He's just trying to make an escape away. Nemesis picks up Maiden and slams it onto No Way, taking him down. Nash just running under tower to safety. NORD unable to get a window into this game.
There is no way you walk into this Atakan. Inax had burnt his bullet time over in that middle wave. Nash used his ult to try and kill Baus. There's no way you walk into this when we said the one wombo combo, the one saving wombo combo would be a big Rel ult into a bullet time from his fortune. And it's not quite happening. Jankos got blown out by just Nemesis.
I'm sad, Trouble, because this is not the NORD we saw during play.
It's time for the whiteboard.
It is time for the whiteboard. It really is.
Time for blue side, time for the whiteboard.
Right, we'll have a look at this fight once again. Reckless, unsung hero, finding really good openings with that Tempered Fate.
Yeah, and you've got the Baus TP on the top side, which sort of breaks the fight apart in half. Jankos can't even walk anywhere near the attacker. Nemesis presses R, he's dead. Reckless then finds No Way, he's dead. And again, using the Maiden grab from Nemesis to slam it onto his own mid lane.
Getting taken out by your own Maiden.
He's like, excuse me, you're going to base, that's yours.
Take Maiden with you. It's a really, really substantial gold lead at this point. 8,000 gold. This is actually what we saw where, you know, Los Ratones played versus Ruddy yesterday. This is not the NORD we expected coming into the finals. These guys were locked in, they were ready, but 2 games now, and they have been scattered. This game has been less of a showing as well. Chachi's been unable to find an opening. Nemesis does get hit by a pillar. In jumps Nash. There's the bullet time to lock him down, and the shutdown goes into No Way's pocket.
That's a tanky Syndra.
That was a very tanky Syndra.
That was an entire bullet time, and other members of NORD hitting that Syndra, and it took a long time for Nemesis to fall. However, he has fallen on a perfect timer for Dragon. That's a 4 versus 5 in favor of NORD.
Yeah, Baus has got a nice little flank angle here, though. We'll see if he goes for it. It's maybe just going to push out the wave, although it does look like Los Ratones, even without their mid laner, thinking about playing some level of contest. Velia can jump in, but I don't know if he's going to be able to jump back out. Thinking about it. In jumps Nash with a Magnus Storm onto 2. Tempered Fate hits 2 in response. Nash losing way too much health. Velia is able to take the kill. Dragon was secured by NORD as Velia trying to find the opening onto Inax. Jumps onto Chachi. Chachi, he's too damn squishy. Reckless finishes him up as Baus jumping onto Inax. Interrupted with the ultimate there to find Inax. Inax is just going to try and break away from this one. No Way teleporting back up to his team. It was a solid fight from Los Ratones. They do lose the Dragon, though.
That was a 4 versus 5 fight, and I don't think necessarily the Dragon was the objective that Los Ratones were going there for. You take this fight, you can actually take the entire jungle from the side of NORD, and then the game is pretty much as good as over, right? But NORD managed to find a pick onto a flashless Nemesis. His book has now suddenly 0 pages.
Yeah.
For the time being.
Bad time. He can't book anymore. Tower should be going down. Nice scatter from Nemesis. Not really actually going to result in much more. Have the dogs to tank.
Nash.
In jumps Nash, though. Got the ability to find the lockdown. The good stun, though. Hits onto Inax and denies him from getting the kill, but No Way finds it with the right to the arcane. Reckless takes a portal, but Jankos is waiting on the other side. Nash joins him over. Inax will put the damage down, and it's a shutdown onto Reckless. NORD, another window back in.
That is actually pretty huge for NORD right here. They take the flash off of Reckless. They punish Nemesis back to back. And Velia.
Inax is solo. Inax is solo. I don't think he's going to survive this. We've gone top, but Inax finds the slow with the rain. gets away. Nash losing so much HP. Baus throws the ultimate out. 1 versus 3. Baus is doing some serious work here. Jankos will strip him down as Inax slides in and finishes the kill.
And with 10 seconds for Baron, look at the vision control around that area for the side of NORD. The pings are coming through. They're pinging the Baron from the side of LR as well. They need to get some vision down. 30 seconds on Baus. TP up. But right here, very important, with all those kills, Sojin completed, Death Cup completed, Deadman's Plate completed, 2 items full for the side of NORD. And they have slowly but surely with Pigs been coming back. Reckless. No flash.
Takes the portal. Very smart for NORD not to follow that portal. There was a
tower.
There was a tower and a Syndra there, so a bit risky. Inax did burn his flash escaping Velia, so Velia did achieve something off the back of that one. Massive chunk out onto Reckless's health bar. No way with that death cap. Also with the Hextech alternator, adding just, you know, like an electrocute extra of damage into every Q when it's off cooldown. Slowly chipping away at people.
I mean, you saw it right there in the top lane, right? Nash goes in, he stuns Nemesis for long enough. Only No Way took him down. It was just the artillery coming from literally 3 screens away. Inax couldn't put in a single auto in that fight. Still, NORD very much far behind. 3 items onto that Nafiri, almost 3 items onto Corki as well. LR is pretty strong here. Nemesis.
Right at the arcane, absolutely demolishes Nemesis' health bar. Dodged to the last 2 because that could have been risky. Is able to break away. Jankos just going to grab himself a little bit of extra health heal off this camp, but the problem is Baron has been started up. Spotted out though, No Way. Throws the Q down. Got some vision to work with. Teleport's coming in as well as Chachi's joining into the fray.
And that was it. They took the teleport.
They're going to have to back off.
Perfect. Great play right here from Los RATONES. Chachi has the pressure, has the maiden. What do? You want to pull his TP. Now Chachi has to stick to the top side of the map if he wants to join for that Baron, and there is no TP on nowhere for the time being. Velia restarts it. He's pulling the T1 back here.
I mean, they don't have the vision. It's the crazy thing here for the NORD. They don't really see what's going on. Jankos maybe thinking...
Jankos is antsy. He can sniff at it, you know? He's like, something's going on behind this wall. I just can't see.
Well, Velia's going to get himself the crab. And now that confirms to him that there was no vision. Because you get the pop, but the bottle does give a bit of vision. Velia jumps over the wall into the pocket of Nash. They miss the Q. Jankos losing a lot of HP, forcing Velia even further away. They put the cage up. That felt a little illegal from Velia.
It's just the respect. You couldn't see anyone else from LR. They were pushing in the waves. You could see Baus on the top side, Nemesis mid. But you couldn't see support and AD carry, and they could be literally right behind Velia. Like, surely he's not crazy enough to be jumping into blast cones like this on his own, right? Well, they were semi-wrong.
They were wrong, because he was crazy enough to do that. He's starting Baron on his own again. I mean, him with the dogs does a lot of work. Pillar's been thrown out, and Los RATONES just have so much control of this area. Like, NORD are unable to step in. Half health onto Baron. I don't think NORD are going to get close enough. They've got no scryers up. They have no ability to see. And yeah, that's just going to be a Los RATONES Baron for free. NORD giving it over. And that crowd.
They're looking for the dragon. Resets have not come through from LR. Bot lane wave pushed. Noah's going to catch that, but NORD need to find a way. They need to find some vision, and Nash has a big... Oh, boy.
Oh, Chachi has to flash away. He's okay. Oh, no! Velia flashes into his pocket. Meanwhile, Crowny gets the pillar thrown on. Chachi goes down. Velia secures the kill. NORD just left catching the wave. They have to give up Dragon.
But again, you see the difference between LR and NORD. LR are going to push the waves first, then pile into the river, and set down their vision for that and play for the neutral objective. This is textbook League of Legends. And NORD are skipping steps. They get caught on the sides, they get caught on the waves. Their vision has been cleared every single time from LR because of that reset thing that we said earlier on, right? And it's just so difficult for them to walk inside their own jungle. I think, like...
They have the wombo combo as well, but they're not giving themselves the window to be able to pull it off. You can't run in blind and just press all your buttons. You need to set up for the fights. You need to set up for those little picks.
Let me try you, okay? Because Ambessa has been one of Chachi's best champions. I'm taking nameplates off. Who's Baus?
Well, yeah, I mean, we know exactly what we would be saying if that was the case. But yeah, with with it on. Impressive play, honestly, from Baus. You know,
Absolutely.
it's a 1-3-6, so it's not like the flashiest scoreline, but he's been on it with those
It used
ultimates.
to be a 2K gold lead.
Yeah.
It's been trimmed down just a little bit. Chachi has been finding some towers over in the side lanes as well. But the problem right here, the biggest problem that NORD has to deal with is Velia. He has been absolutely unstoppable on this Nafiri. 3 items deep now as well. They're looking for Nemesis again.
Bullet time's in, they find the lockdown. There's going to be Reckless's ultimate to stop it. Nemesis, really fancy feat, dodging all of the right of the arcane. And meanwhile, Baus gets a massive chunk out of the tower.
2 ultimates gone. Inax, no way, both use theirs to try and catch Nemesis, and that's a 3-wave siege from the side of Los Ratones. Mid, bot, and top. First tower falling down in the base of NORD, and another wave's going to be coming shortly from the top side where Velia and Baus are.
I mean, NORD just need to pull the trigger. They've got the Infinity Edge on Inax. Ultimately, they are slowly but surely just losing this game to a battle of attrition. Jankos losing so much HP to Crownie. Crownie half-healthing him just with auto attacks, no abilities coming in. Down goes another inhibitor. Los Ratones. Surely NORD put up some level of fight.
1 tower remaining. At least 1 inhibitor tower remaining for the side of NORD. And this could be the last defense right here. Again, Los Ratones, they don't have a very easy engage. But what they do have for the side is the wave.
Oh! Nash went forwards, gets hit by the unleashed power! Taken down. NORD just unable to find an answer, unable to really do much of anything. Beautiful scatter of the weak as Crownie jumps over the wall to try and stop them here. Pillar's got the slowdown. Chachi, where's his health bar going? Velia will just be finishing him up. Los Ratones get another kill. Inax gets jumped onto here. A lot of damage coming in. The Pillar's going to be there. Inax chunked out. Nice shutdown actually from nowhere. Gets the snipe off. Throwing out some of the right of the arcane, looking for the kills. Baus is just going to teleport back in. All inhibitors down. And it just feels like NORD are falling apart. Baus on the flank. Can't quite find the kill onto Inax.
The waves. Look on your screens right now. Look on your mini-maps. There's so many waves coming into NORD's base. All 3 inhibitors down, and Los Ratones, what a fantastic use of power. Every single inhibitor down, a big chunk of a Nexus tower as well. This is a successful siege for them, and I feel like it's gonna be quick and clinical. Playing textbook, they keep Baus in just to take the last inhibitor over on the boss of the map. They'll use the pressure of the minions raining into NORD's base to try and take one last team fight. They've got the items, they've got the levels extra. 4 items now onto Nemesis. He got rid of the book because you know what? He got scammed. He just got the cover.
He literally bought it and lost it immediately.
He just bought the cover.
I mean...
He bought a different one.
You know what? That one's actually useful. It turns into something. Honestly, I just feel like NORD have let Los Ratones play their game and actually done nothing. It feels almost PvE. NORD have kind of just rolled over, lost every objective. Yeah, I said it. It feels PvE, unfortunately. They're looking for a pick on a Baus, but the Scryer comes out and spots them out. Velia actually looks to try and chase forwards, not going to find them. Jankos looks for the stun, doesn't quite make that connection. They are just going to back off, try and look to catch the wave. Inax, he's just on wave duty. This is a slow and sad bleed out for game number 2, and NORD, if they lose this game, which, let's be real, from the state of it, probably going to be happening, they're on match point. They need to go to the drawing board. They can't let Los Ratones play their game. They can't let Los Ratones just free farm, free take towers, and not contest, not fight them.
I just feel like it's been a very quiet game from NORD.
It's been a very quiet game.
Not necessarily punishing, and I feel like it's been a quiet series from Jankos as well.
Yeah.
I feel like he was the main gear, the main moving cog in the machine that took Los Ratones down. He was everywhere. He was ganking Baus, he was ganking Nemesis. Right here, a little bit more of a subdued, I would say, performance so far. And I feel like seeing the Trundle, I feel like this is one of his champions as well. We haven't necessarily seen too much movement. Again, Nemesis got away with murder in the top lane, being completely untouched. And we're chatting about things to come, right? Because this game just feels so over for the side of Los Ratones. I feel like maybe a blue side is overdue for the side of NORD. See what you can do on the other side of the coin.
I mean, you know it's a slow game when 6 dragons have gone down.
Yeah.
And no one has soul. Los Ratones very close towards that soul. They've got a lot of extra tenacity from 3 Chemtechs.
It's leaning towards a NORD win.
Because they have extra
average
stats.
time-wise, right?
True. I mean, they are looking for Reckless here. Jankos puts
Jankos
a pillar
still alone.
down. Nash got a nice flank ankle. Inax not in position to follow up with a bullet time. Finds the slow. Faust gonna get slowed up a little bit here, but Velia's just soloing Baron in the meanwhile. Nord can't even really get close enough to stop it. Velia's going to jump over the wall. That's going to be the Tempered Fate into the Magnet Storm. They find the stun. Inax breaks away. In comes the follow-up. The bullet time is huge, but it is shut down. The Tempered Fate from Reckless has denied Inax time and time again. Nash will fall. Velia 9-0-5 on the Neferi. Make it 10 kills. This was so one-sided from Los Ratones. Looking absolutely phenomenal going into this next game.
Classic.
Match point for Los Ratones.